Hello there.
Good evening, my darling batlings. I'm happy to be here tonight after taking last night off, and in case you couldn't tell, or in case you haven't seen my posts on Blue Sky, because I exclusively post on there now, Twitter is a hellscape that I am happy to abandon. We're playing Resident Evil with the PC version with a couple mods to make it look a little bit more cleaned up and play a little bit better on a modern gamepad tonight. Because for Spooktober, there's been a lack of spoopy games I've been playing.
Yes.
And I have to fix that before Spooktober is over. Probably going to continue it after Spooktober is over, because if Christmas is allowed to extend its reach early, then Halloween is allowed to extend its reach late.
Christmas in January confirmed.
Yes. Well, there is Christmas shit in January. That's the problem.
No, Halloween. The Halloween stuff is in January.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Let's please have that. I'm joined tonight by Kier.
How's it going, guys? And before the stream, Arikado, you saw it with your own eyes. I beat it on heavy.
You beat the title screen on heavy.
Oh, hey, look at the time. It's 9:08.
All right.
You know what that means, right? Remember that Walmart.
Get ready for Resident Cactuar references. Kier has already warned me of this ahead of time. And most of these are going to fly over my head because I've not seen Resident Cactuar since I was in middle school.
I'm mainly going for memory, just to be fair. I
only remember two things from Resident Cactuar, and that's the "You Sir Are a Noob" line and the interaction with Aerosmith. Alright, so I'm playing this with, first of all, with the overhaul called Classic Rebirth, which basically makes it a bit more accessible on modern operating systems. I'm playing this with the GOG release, which everyone should get those releases of 1, 2, and 3, and then mod them for Classic Rebirth and any other mods you see fit, because that way you can play these games in crisp HD and support the official release.
Yes.
Without having to resort to ROM hacks of the PS1 versions.
And for those that don't know, Resident Evil 3 and Code Veronica are like my favorites.
Also, of note about this version is it is the only North American release version officially that has the uncensored opening and uncensored additional cutscenes.
Ooh.
Whereas the so-called director's cut, which was supposed to be uncensored, accidentally shipped with the censored cutscenes everywhere.
Oh.
And the only PlayStation version that has the uncensored cutscenes is the French release of the original, weirdly enough. Makes more sense when you look at French cinema of the time and realize France is really okay with a lot of gore.
They must love 80s anime.
I mean, there's a reason that there's a whole film subgenre called New French Extremity.
Ooh.
Looks like the game capture's not picking it up. Let's fix that.
Okay, this is spookier with a black screen.
Game capture's still not picking it up. Let's tinker around with it and see if we can fix it.
I'll keep chat entertained. So yeah, did the black screen with the sound effects actually like make anyone like just jump a little bit because it wasn't really expecting it? because I jumped. Then I jumped again when a pipe sound effect happened.
Let's try it with I might try a window capture to see if that works. Yep, window capture's working.
Just gotta fix the layer.
Yeah, just gotta fix the layering. Technical difficulties on my stream, perish the thought.
So,
and yes, that Seamless HD project thing in the corner, that actually, no, you can't see it because we're blocking it. I'm also gonna have to tone down the volume a bit because it do be loud. All right, so yeah, this not only, you know, does HD textures for the models, but also upscales the cutscenes and does the backgrounds as well, so they no longer look all pixelated. We're going to start with Jill tonight, and then after we finish Jill's campaign, we'll do Chris. Okay.
You already know Jill is also my preferred character in the franchise as well.
Yeah, but Chris has my favorite campaign. Because he has, since he doesn't start out with the lockpick and just doesn't get the lockpick, he has to do extra work. So one of the things that's different about the opening cutscene in the uncensored version, it's in color.
Where we're searching for the helicopter of our compatriots Bravo team, who disappeared during the middle of our mission. No, I haven't found it yet.
Also, this shot of a mutilated face instead of the newspaper clipping.
There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. Bravo team went to the hideout of the group and disappeared.
Look, Chris!
We also get some close-up shots of the zombie dogs.
You may ask yourself,
how did I get this disease?
Not that, but
what are my treatment options?
unfortunately, it's not mesothelioma that they're afflicted with, as we'll find out. But yeah, we get in this uncensored opening, we get to see Wesker's hair in color. You can tell it's very clearly dyed because it's like Johnny Bravo yellow.
Don't you want a Johnny Bravo yellow hair wig?
I just want Johnny Bravo hair.
Johnny
My hair's
Bravo
not the
awesome.
right kind, not the right, it's not in the right shape for me to be able to style it into a gorgeous pompadour like that. Oh no, a dollar store hand! But yeah, we get to see what the dogs actually do here. Kinda. And we get to see the dogs.
Why did he have a dinosaur roar?
So yep, we get to see what happened to Joseph! Instead of, you know...
Not Billy Mays.
No. But yeah, we get to see what happened to Joseph instead of it cutting away. Hey, this helicopter pilot, which I think his name's Brad, if I remember correctly, he had the right idea. He knows he's a helicopter pilot in a video game. He's getting the fuck out of there before he gets shot down.
Mm-hmm. That's what... He knows every single horror movie. He's like, yeah.
I am right.
I'm still trying to figure out why it had a dinosaur roar.
Also, the casserole is different. Chris is smoking a cigarette. We have to censor out the cigarette in the international version because smoking is bad.
Jill Valentine. Barry Burton.
Fun fact, the live-action actor for Barry Burton is a school teacher now.
Also,
And the live action actress for Jill was only 16 at the time of recording this. At the time of recording the cutscene, I mean. And the live action actress for Rebecca was a model who was in TV advertisements and a couple like lingerie catalogs.
Okay.
What is this?
Wow.
A mansion.
What a mansion.
It's so weird hearing
Wesker,
regular
where's
like
Chris?
PS1 Wesker before they settled on him sounding as
Stop it.
smarmy as
Don't
possible.
open that door.
Yeah.
Like, I can't not hear DC Douglas when
What
I
is
think
it?
of Wesker.
Maybe it's Chris.
Complete,
Now, Jill,
global,
can you go?
I'm
saturation.
going with you. Chris is our old partner, you know.
Okay, let me handle this.
Also, the zombie reveal is different in this
Stay
uncensored
alert.
version,
Oh,
because we get to see what the zombie was eating.
back to Cheetos.
It sounds like eating mac and Cheetos.
This is mac and Cheetos. Oh God.
You did say mac and Cheetos. Which
I
that
said a
is a
bag.
thing. It's a Burger King menu item.
I said a bag.
What is this?
Oh, sorry, I misheard.
What is it?
It's okay, but no, I want to try.
Jill,
You gave me something to try.
Any other clues?
You can make
I'll
mac
be
and Cheetos
examining
at home.
this.
It is basically
Hope this
it's
is not
it is like a big Cheetos puff filled with mac and cheese.
Oh God. I want to make this.
I'm sure you can find a recipe for it at home.
No, JK.
Not sauce,
JKR.
cheese.
JKR. Okay. Oh.
All right,
I
time
was
for the
saying-
zombie reveal.
That face is still. It's like wine.
It gets better with age.
Yes. Because as we get closer and closer to even more realistic, graphics,
Barry?
this is timeless. It looks creepier as time goes by,
It's a monster!
So, fun fact: the way Barry's revolver works in this scene is a holdover from how the revolver was actually supposed to work originally, where it wouldn't guarantee a headshot every time. It would
Kenneth
just
was
deal a lot
killed
of
too.
damage.
Maybe by this creature.
Ah.
Anyway, let's report this to Wesker.
But then when you actually get the revolver in the, the Magnum, I should say, because this is classified as a Magnum. Like, the original idea was the Magnum would have a higher percentage of blowing up a zombie's head, whereas in-game, it always blows up a zombie's head.
Help me look for him, Jill. And don't leave this hall for the time being.
And I'm gonna try and go for best ending for everyone, if I can manage it. I still don't know how I got the best ending in my old review of Resident Evil 1 on
Find
Chris's
anything, Jill?
playthrough, but I finally
Nothing.
figured out how to get the best ending on
What
Jill's
is this all
playthrough. And it's
about?
pretty simple,
I can't
even though
figure it
one
out at
section
all.
is a little bit counterintuitive.
Beats me, too.
Now it's Wesker's time to disappear. I don't know what's going on.
Well, it can't be helped. Let's search for him separately. I'll check the dining room again.
Okay, I'll try the door on the opposite side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could get into trouble if we get
Oh,
lost.
time for the line.
We should start from the first floor, okay? And
No, wait.
Jill,
Here we go.
Here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master,
The master of unlocking.
take it with you.
Thanks. Maybe I'll need it.
I don't.
Listen, if something
I wanna-
happens, let's meet up in this hall.
I'm going to get that embroidered on a shirt
This
one
time
day.
I'll be there.
I've already decided that when I eventually cosplay Barry, I'm gonna carry around a sandwich with me.
Oh,
I'm not gonna carry the revolver. I'm gonna carry a sandwich. It'll be my Jill sandwich.
I was waiting for it to come up because I was gonna bring up.
Oh, that's gonna
the
come
thing-
up in just a little bit. That scene's very soon after this.
Yeah, I know it's soon. I was gonna say though, a legitimate question too. Like, which characters? What kind of sandwich could you see each character being?
Oh god, I'm not that creative. I was just gonna fix like, a standard like turkey, cheese, lettuce, not tomatoes, because those would spoil too quickly.
Yeah, not only that, it'll make everything soggy.
Yeah. If anything, I might just get like a plastic prop sandwich.
That would be better. You don't gotta worry about people touching it and going bad, and
Yeah. Or it falling apart and making a mess everywhere.
Yeah.
But one thing about this PC port that's of note that makes it a bit more accessible for newcomers who, like, how Resident Evil early games are famous for having a limited number of saves per game?
Yeah.
The PC version removes the ink rolls entirely, so you can just save as many times as you want.
I forgot the dog jumped out the window. That actually got me.
It's a little bit different in the GameCube and HD remake versions because the dog doesn't break through the window on your first go through. It just cracks the window at first. And then it's like later on like your second or third time through that breaks through.
Didn't they do that also in the remake, I think, right?
Yes, that is exactly what I just said.
Oh. No, I heard HD, I'm like, wait a minute.
The HD version is the remake. It's an HD remaster of the GameCube remake.
Oh, okay.
I always love this hallway this angle right here on the PS1 version because you get a close up of low poly Jill. It just looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Also, it's easy to forget, for me at least, that Jill's wearing massive shoulder pads this game.
Hut, motherfucker.
Like, everyone remembers the beret. No one remembers the massive shoulder pads. Also, this room in this playthrough, in Jill's playthrough, serves no purpose. But you do have to come through here in Chris's playthrough.
Oh.
That's another reason why I recommend going through both playthroughs instead of just sticking with Jill. Yes, Jill has the more iconic scenes, but you don't get the full Resident Evil experience without playing Chris's playthrough. For example, Chris is the only one to run into Rebecca. And there are some sequences in Chris's playthrough that play out completely differently than they do in Jill's.
That's actually
due to
really
Barry
good.
only being in Jill's playthrough. So, like, right here, this is a whole sequence, very famous sequence, that Barry bails you out of in Jill's playthrough. In Chris's playthrough, you have to solve the puzzle correctly, otherwise you just die. Like, you can't just take the shotgun and walk out. You have to get the broken shotgun from another room to replace it.
Oh. That's
otherwise, the doors lock, the ceiling collapses on you, and no one is there to break you out. Yeah, my first time playing any version of Resident Evil, this was just so intense for me because I wasn't playing with a guide at first because it was at my grandparents' house. So I thought I had just screwed myself.
Oh.
What's going on?
Jill? Is that you, Jill? What happened?
Harry, help me, please. The door won't open. Quick!
Stay away from the door, Jill. I'm gonna kick this door down.
Through the line.
Hurry! This way!
Oh boy, here comes the line! Also, in the PC version, you can skip the door transitions, but I never do.
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry, thanks for saving my life.
Oscar-worthy writing. I know video games
Barry,
don't get nominated for
didn't you say
Oscars,
you're
but
going
this
back
should.
to the dining room to do some research? Why on earth are you here?
I just had something I wanted to check. Now, let's get back to searching for the lost captain and Chris, shall we?
Thank you, Barry.
Yeah.
That's an underrated line right there. Like, thanks for saving my life, Barry. Yeah, whatever. Fuck off.
Yeah. Going back to the sandwich
Barry's
thing,
voice actor in this game, who by complete coincidence is named Barry. Barry Gjerde, I believe it's pronounced. He's Norwegian. But you can hear him in other Japanese-produced English dubs of the era. I can't imagine Barry sounding like anyone but him, even though he only voiced him in this one game.
you know, the funny thing is, like, going back to the sandwich thing, right? You wouldn't know how I could see Barry.
How?
A toasted Reuben on rye with some extra special sauce. I don't know
So
why.
one of the things in this uncensored PC version is sometimes when you shoot zombies, their limbs will fall off
Ooh.
to indicate that, you know, they're taking heavy damage. Also, from my experience testing this out and getting pretty far into the game on one playthrough, if you get decapitated by a hunter, it's a lot more bloody.
Oh.
Like, instead of just the head coming off, the whole body gets drenched in blood. As well as the head coming off.
That's spicy.
Yeah. Alright, I like to put away the first aid spray that you start out with, so I can save it for later, because there's not many first aid sprays in this game.
Yeah. Also, there's a green herb that was outside.
Yeah, I know. I don't like to pick up all the green herbs at first, so I don't run out of healing items later on in the game.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was.
I have
your,
strategies for
play
playing this. I just haven't like optimized a good speed run yet.
I do this.
Oh, but still, you know how I have I don't have Banjo-Kazooie. I don't really have it optimized myself, but I have my strategies, and I respect that.
Yep, I've got I've played Jill's playthrough so many times just for like review purposes and getting used to the game that I've basically more or less mapped out my way that I play each playthrough as like muscle memory.
Nice.
Up until
Kinda
later
like
in the game though. Like the early parts I've got mostly memorized.
All right, so it's kind of like how I'm with almost every Final Fantasy from 7 all the way up to 10.
Like right there, I shot off his arm.
Ooh.
And the arm is still there on the ground. Also, this writing on the wall is a leftover from when this game was supposed to be a first-person rail shooter. Sort of like House of the Dead.
Oh, I miss playing House of the Dead.
There's a remake of it out now, but it's not the ideal way to play the first House of the Dead.
Yeah,
but it's about as good as you're gonna get because Sega no longer has the source code for it.
Yeah.
Which is why it was never included in any House of the Dead remasters or collections.
Yeah.
Like, it's playable, it's just, it's not the same without a light gun.
Yeah, exactly. That's
It works best on Switch, but it's playable with a gamepad. Just,
Yeah.
it's really, you need either a light gun or a Wii remote for it, and the Joy-Cons are not either of those.
Yeah.
And unlike the Wii remote, due to the Joy-Cons being a lot more compact and slim, they don't make for, inherently good things to make a gun-shaped holder for. Like, my favorite way to play House of the Dead outside of an arcade setting with unlimited, with free play turned on, is the House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return collection for the Wii, with the, I believe it's Nyko, Perfect Shot, I believe it's called, which is basically a pistol-shaped thing that you slot the Wii remote into.
Ooh.
Like, it's better than the Wii Zapper, in my opinion, because it feels more gun-like, instead of having, like, really awkward shape to get around toy gun laws.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can say that's not ideal about the Wii collection is the version of House of the Dead 2 it uses is based on the Dreamcast port, which means there's not a free play option. Like, yes, you do get more modes to play because it's based on the Dreamcast port, but it's not like it would. I think it would have been better if it was the arcade version with an option for enabling free play, so you don't have to start over at the beginning of the game if you run out of continues.
Yeah.
Which is weird because House of the Dead 3 does have that option in that collection.
Oh.
But House of the
That is
Dead 2, which is, the bigger selling point, does not.
Yeah.
But still, we need House of the Dead 2 on modern platforms just so we can have Goldman and his beautiful line deliveries on modern consoles.
Yeah.
You can easily emulate both of them through there's a Sega Model 2 emulator that works well with House of the Dead 1. So you can play it with a mouse and keyboard.
Jill, what's going
And,
on?
playing a light gun shooter with a mouse is like cheating.
Yeah. Especially the older ones.
Whoa.
Or you
Like,
can
you see
get a
the
send-in light gun, or one of the
Maybe
alternatives
it's
now
better to
that work
secure
on
our
PC
escape route first.
Oh,
and on
and
modern
that's actually-
TVs.
Must be a
That was
back
actually
door
something I was going to
somewhere.
bring up.
Let's try
And
that.
there's a
Okay, let's separate.
there was
again.
a
moment.
like
I
one of
found
those
something.
mini console things coming out for Time
is it?
Crisis that comes with a light
a
gun.
weapon.
Oh my god.
Really powerful, especially against living
God.
things.
I missed
Also,
Time
this
Crisis
line
2.
here where he says this
How
weapon
about
is
you,
really
Gary?
powerful, especially against living things.
This.
It's supposed to be a
Thank you.
hint on what kind
I'll
of enemies
take
to
this
use
then.
acid grenade rounds on. But it's poorly translated, so it sounds goofy, but it actually does make sense. He's saying acid rounds are useful against things that are not zombies.
Oh, I got an idea.
Stuff like, hunters or the snake boss.
That was one of them.
Anything that's not a zombie is something that you want to use acid rounds on.
So,
Also, there's a trick here where you actually don't want to examine the body here. You can take the grenade launcher without looking at the body. If you look at the body, it triggers some crows to start attacking you.
oh yeah, I remember you telling me that. Oh,
You gonna say something following that? Oh?
my mom was playing tricks on me.
Oh. This area right here, it seems like it's kind of pointless, and it is. But in the remake, they added another door here that leads to a new area.
Oh.
Because the remake is basically what they wanted Resident Evil to be without system limitations and time crunch. Which amounts to, you know, still very B-movie inspired, but not as goofy and more realistic looking.
Oh man, this music is really setting a mood.
Now, there's a mod for the PC version that's included with the mod bundle that I'm doing that allows you to play it with the DualShock soundtrack. And I was thinking about doing that for, you know, the inherent hilarity of the basement theme in the DualShock version. But they haven't. The HD remaster mod has not covered cutscenes with the DualShock soundtrack, so we would be playing this with all the cutscenes skipped. And I'm sorry, you can't play Resident Evil 1 without the original Resident Evil 1 without the live-action FMV cutscenes. It's heresy.
Yes.
But there is a PS1 version that solves that. The true director's cut ROM hack can be applied to both the standard director's cut and the DualShock director's cut, depending on what soundtrack you want to play with. And I've got both of them on my modded PS1 as well as my emulator setup. I just felt like doing the PC version because, you know, it allows for some unique opportunities you can't get on the console versions, and it's a version that doesn't get talked about very often. If I remember correctly, the PC version also has some exclusive weapons for beating the game.
Oh, I forgot about this animation.
I know one of the exclusive weapons is a minigun, and they actually had to do some, like, interesting programming to get the minigun to work in Resident Evil 1's engine.
Oh. That would be,
because Resident Evil 1 was not designed with fast-firing weapons in mind. So the minigun kind of breaks the game because it allows you to stun lock enemies.
That sounds like fun.
It's fun, but there's a reason you only get it after beating the game.
Not only that, when you really think about it with ammo scarcity and everything, it also changes the feel of the game from psychological to action horror, what the franchise kind of is now.
Yeah, well, I would argue you can see the gradual approach towards more actionized gameplay, starting with Resident Evil 2, which is much more plentiful with its ammo, and really encourages you to fight rather than run.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be obviously it wouldn't be until Resident Evil 4 that they really started prioritizing action over atmosphere, I would say. Resident Evil 4 can still be scary, but it's more so about, oh shit, I'm overwhelmed, what do I do? Help. Rather than, you know, setting up a slow burn scare or jump scaring you with stuff. Or having to work with limited resources. It's still horror, definitely, but it's a different kind of horror, I would say. Whereas Resident Evil 5 and 6 are where they abandon horror entirely in favor of action.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 7 is a nice return to form, and then Resident Evil Village is more like Resident Evil 2, in that it's definitely more actionized, but not to the extent of 5 or 6.
Yeah. Maybe closer to 4?
Yeah, it's closer to 4. even in the opening set piece being the same as 4, with you having to fight off an unrelenting ambush of enemies until a bell rings, which causes them to all leave. That whole opening ambush in the village, it's just Resident Evil 4's opening, which should have been the clue that we were getting a Resident Evil 4 remake.
Oh shit, you're right. The master of unlocking.
Yep, a lot of these doors, you cannot open them on your first run through with Chris, because like Jill's lockpick not only unlocks certain doors, it also unlocks locked drawers, which with Chris, you have a whole new item, 2 whole new items in Chris's playthrough with small keys for unlocking locked drawers, and another mansion key for unlocking the doors that Jill's lockpick can unlock. Chris also has less inventory slots than Jill, so you have to be a lot more careful with your resource management.
I forgot that thing was in there.
Yep. It's one of those beginner's traps. But I always do it anyways for the shotgun ammo and for the Keeper's Diary.
Okay.
May 9th, 1998. At night, we played poker with Scott the Guard, alias and Steve the Scott the Guard, alias and Steve the Researcher. Steve was really lucky, but I think he was cheating. What a scumbag. May 10th, 1998. By the way, this is technically in the future at the time that Resident Evil 1 came out.
Yeah.
When you think about it, because Resident Evil 1 came out in 96.
Oh, my back.
Today, a high-ranking researcher asked me to take care of a new monster. It looks like a gorilla without any skin. They told me to feed them live food. When I threw in a pig, they were playing with it, tearing off the pig's legs and pulling out the guts before they actually ate it. May 11th. Around 5 o'clock this morning, Scott came in and woke me up suddenly. He was wearing a protection suit that looks like a spacesuit. He told me to put one on as well. I heard that there was an accident in the basement lab. It's no wonder those researchers never rest, even at night. May 12th. I've been wearing this annoying spacesuit since yesterday. My skin grows musty and feels very itchy. By way of revenge, I didn't feed those dogs yesterday. Now I feel better. May 13th. I went to the medical room because my back is all swollen and feels itchy. Same, brother. They put a big bandage on my back, and the doctor told me I did not need to wear my spacesuit anymore. I guess I can sleep well tonight. May 14th.
Yeah, it's making my back itchy.
When I woke up this morning, I found another blister on my foot. It was annoying, and I ended up dragging my foot as I went to the dog's pen. They have been quiet since morning, which is very unusual. I found that some of them had escaped. I'll be in real trouble if the higher-ups find out. May 15th. Even though I didn't feel well, I decided to go see Nancy, but it's my first day off in a long time, but I was stopped by the guard on the way out. They say the company has ordered that no one leaves the grounds. I can't even make a phone call. What kind of joke is this? May 16th. I heard a researcher who tried to escape from this mansion was shot last night. My entire body feels burning and itchy at night. When I was scratching the swelling on my arm, a lump of rotten flesh dropped off. What the hell is happening to me? May 19th. Fever gone, but itchy. Hungry and eat doggy food. Itchy, itchy Scott came. Ugly face, so killed him. Tasty. 4. Itchy. Tasty. That is it. Yeah, that's, to my understanding, one of the iconic files you can pick up. Because it covers, you know, the gradual descent into becoming a zombie from an infected person's perspective, which is something you don't often get to see in any zombie media.
Yeah.
Like, you see, like, you know, the physical elements a lot of times, but you don't get to see, like, how it affects the mind as well.
Yeah, it's a piece of lore and world building that we both enjoy.
Yeah. He's Kenneth from the Stars Bravo team. Now he's become a mere shadow of his former self. I
Damn.
wouldn't say that. I'd say he's become a decapitated corpse, Jill.
Meaty bits.
And if you investigate him, you get handgun bullets and more handgun bullets.
What about more handgun bullets?
Nah, you can only investigate him those 3 times. 1 for the description and 2 more times for the handgun bullets. It's an easy thing to miss because you wouldn't think to investigate the corpse that the initial zombie was around.
Yeah, it makes you double check and triple check things also to make sure you don't miss anything.
Exactly.
This is why I kind of like some of the older Resident Evils because, you know,
I like that.
very innovative.
I like that when you check items in this game, they're a 3D model that you can rotate and such. It allows for more creative puzzle opportunities than just investigate the 2D object and narration tells you what you found.
Yeah.
Like the way you identify each of the keys is by rotating the model until you find the symbol on the key.
They do something similar to that in Skyrim, obviously not to a good degree. And it's with the dragon claw type things, where it's just to match the symbol to the stuff on the wall.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like homage, I would say, but could have been done way better.
So this whole sequence plays out differently in Chris's story. Because Chris doesn't know how to play the piano, while Jill does.
Oh, some more world building.
So he has to get Rebecca to play the piano for him. But she's a little bit rusty on her piano playing, so you have to leave her there. And then come back later to when she's figured out how to play Moonlight Sonata correctly.
Huh. I missed things like this in video games, you know?
I also like, as far as world building goes, later games would expand on why the mansion has so many, like, obtuse traps and stuff like this. Which basically comes down to, like, files in, I believe, Resident Evil 0, delving into, like, the man who was tasked with constructing the mansion. Because Resident Evil 0 takes place a couple days before Resident Evil 1. And also retroactively makes Rebecca a much more badass character.
Okay, that sounds nice.
Not just because Rebecca is the main playable character of the game, along with an escaped convict that tags along with you, and that you have to switch back and forth between, but also because it adds the context that by the time of Resident Evil 1, she had been awake with no stops for sleep or naps for several days. Because you do not sleep during a zombie outbreak.
No, you do not.
All right, we got 2 keys now. Now, there is a strat to, like, making optimal use of the keys, which is to just investigate each key's corresponding door until they're all unlocked, so you can free up that slot in your inventory. But I don't like to do that most of the time. And the answer is because I don't like to have to go around the mansion and just investigate doors until I found them all to get rid of the key. I just like it requires another run around the mansion to do that. And in this game, I don't believe that there's much of a ranking system. That's more of a Resident Evil 2 thing, where you're ranked based on a lot of factors, and there's unlockables tied to your endgame ranking. Although, from my experience playing multiple versions of Resident Evil 2, I have found that the Dreamcast and PC versions of Resident Evil 2 are more generous with their rankings than the original PS1 version.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, decapitated.
Can we talk about how strong Jill's kick is, that she was able to kick its head off?
Mm-hmm. That's someone you do not want to be fighting.
That's someone you don't want to get kicked in the nuts by. She's gonna obliterate your crotch. It's not just gonna pop a testicle, it's going to make your entire crotchular area explode like it's Fist of the North Star. She, like, kicks you, you freeze, and she's like, you are already neutered.
That's no good.
And then it explodes in a huge gush of blood.
I can't feel my legs. You're wheeling around right now. No, my third leg. Oh, that shit gone. It's done in the way.
Do you think you could stop the bleeding? Son, there's nothing left on there.
It's all dust in the wind, son.
I can't reattach it because it's been atomized.
We gotta be careful because the Rule 34 artist gonna hear.
Oh, that's not gonna be the Rule 34 artist. That's gonna be the Guro artists.
Scared.
That's gonna be like that, can't remember his name, but the guy that made Shoujo Tsubaki. Like, that guy's gonna get a hold of it.
I don't remember at all, and I don't think I want to remember.
I doubt you've seen that movie because it's never been released in America. The only English subbed release it's gotten was in Europe.
Okay.
And for a while, it was considered a partially lost film, but turns out the version released in Europe was the one that was considered lost.
Oh.
And the director has no idea how they got a hold of it because from his recollection, it was seized by Japanese cops at an airport and destroyed for being obscene. Like, it's not just a lot of sexual stuff with uncensored nudity. It's very gruesome in a very over-the-top and disturbing way.
Basically, the moment you said something, I was thinking like the metal machine with the little girl, and yeah.
I want to say you're not far off, but thankfully it doesn't have any skinning. It's more so just like it's a very hard thing to watch because a lot of it is like just a series of bad things happening to a 13-year-old. Some bad things that include some not safe for work stuff.
Oof.
Which I very much do not like.
Understandable.
Like, thankfully, none of it's shown on screen, but the fact that it's implied is bad enough.
Yeah.
By the way, the whole movie's on YouTube.
Oh God.
That's how I watched it.
Oh God.
Like, I found it random. I knew about it beforehand, but I was like, I found it randomly on YouTube at like 2 in the morning one time. And it's the exact kind of thing that shows up in your recommendations at 2 in the morning.
Like, what the
You know
fuck
what I'm talking
shows?
about. You've been there before.
I get videos on melts and grilled cheeses. What the
Like,
fuck?
I like at those hours, I get recommended, like, you know, the scary stuff, the stuff that's like, you know, the stuff that you totally should watch before bed.
And you take
Not like
this-
not like the live leak stuff, but like, you know, true crime and like more gruesome lost media related videos. Yeah, it's basically I get recommended stuff from the weird side, from the unfun weird side of YouTube at like 2 or 3 in the morning.
I get the weird fun shit.
Like, there's 2 weird sides of YouTube. There's the fun weird, and there's the not fun weird.
Like that video I sent you of like the I was just like a really theoretical highway school.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I get the weird fun stuff like that, but that's actually impressive how good they sounded.
Alright, I will at least unlock the doors up here before going into them, but I don't like to go around the whole mansion and unlock all the doors first. Which, I say the whole mansion, we're not going through the whole mansion yet. Because we can't get to the basement until later.
It's a nice door.
So, like, one of the things that I like about the original Resident Evil, and I've brought this up a few times, is, like, this came out in the era where, like, the only other quote-unquote survival horror games, because it was Resident Evil that coined that term, that were out at the time were Clock Tower, which was a point-and-click game with horror with a horror theme, and what's it called? Alone in the Dark, the original Alone in the Dark, and I think it's sequel, maybe like the first 2 sequels, I'm not sure. And those were very much adventure games with a horror aesthetic. So Resident Evil plays a lot more like an old school adventure game than what we now consider survival horror games to be like.
Remind me real quick. Clockwork was the one with the guy that chased you with the scissors, I think, right?
Yes, that was Clock Tower and its sequel, which we never got the original Clock Tower in North America until very recently. Well, officially. There's been an English translation for a long time, which is what JonTron reviewed. But the PlayStation version was a sequel to Clock Tower. Which, since we didn't get the original Super Nintendo Clock Tower, they changed the title to just Clock Tower, rather than Clock Tower 2. It's a Final Fantasy situation, basically, where the spin-off Clock Tower Ghost Head was retitled to Clock Tower 2 here. And then it just happened to line up with Clock Tower 3.
Oh.
where they didn't need to change the title anywhere because it was the third canonical entry in Japan, and it was the third Clock Tower game released over here.
Oh. Yeah, that's... I hate when that kind of stuff happens.
Thankfully, that kind of stuff doesn't really happen anymore.
Yes.
Because they can't really hide it like they used to be able to.
Yeah, another one that another popular one would be Mario Brothers 2, later released as the secret levels. Ours was Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah. And then the Doki Doki Panic reskin got re-released in Japan as Super Mario Brothers USA.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, it's whether it's, a reskin or it stands, it's a fun game.
Yeah. And it went on to have a big impact on the Mario franchise going forward, so I say it counts as a Mario game, even if it doesn't
hell yeah.
play like a traditional Mario. It's where a lot of the iconic enemies come from, at the very least, as well as the mechanic of Mario picking up and throwing stuff.
Not only that, when you
It's also the one that introduced the traditional stats for Mario games with multiple playable characters, with the idea of Mario being the standard all-around one.
Yeah.
And Luigi having the higher jump, but lower traction.
Yeah. What I would say, in my personal opinion, is also an innovator in that in the industry, saying, hey, you need to take chances, which we don't see much nowadays. Because
that's part of the reason so like right here, to get off topic a little bit, this fake shotgun is something that you do not need. Well, the broken shotgun is something you can completely ignore in Jill's playthrough, but you have to get it from here first before getting the shotgun in the shotgun room in Chris's playthrough. Otherwise, you'll fail the puzzle and you'll die. That's what I was talking about earlier. But yes, the whole reason that we didn't get Mario 2 here, apart from it being bullshit hard due to shitty design choices, it's where they originated a lot of the tricks that ROM hacks use nowadays.
Yeah,
Except it was the official sequel to Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah. By the way, I've seen some really good Kaizo maps done. I get them.
Oh, so have I. The problem is, this shouldn't have been an official... it doesn't feel like an official Mario game in how it's designed.
Yeah.
It feels like a Kaizo ROM hack. Because it's not designed in a fair challenge. It's designed to be frustrating.
Yeah.
It's designed to trick you if you play it like you would Mario 1.
You should just run as fast as you fucking can.
Basically the way that Nintendo first party, at least, would localize stuff is they had a guy that used to work in the warehouses but later became an official spokesperson for Nintendo named, I believe, his first name was Howard. I can't remember his last name. You may remember him from the Howard and Nestor comics from Nintendo Power. He was a real person. You also might recognize him from his iconic suit and bow tie that he would always wear.
Yeah.
They would give him things that from Nintendo of Japan that Nintendo of America was wondering whether they should import or not. And he would playtest them first and give feedback on whether it should be imported, and if it is imported, what changes they should make for the localized version. He played Mario 2, and he said, this is not fun, and it's too similar to Mario 1.
Yeah.
But the main thing, apart from it being, looking exactly like Mario 1, was it's not fun. It's going to be too hard for kids. They're going to get frustrated with it and give up on it.
Yeah, I played it. It's not that fun.
If anything, the version on Super Mario All-Stars is better due to it having a save system.
Yeah. Well, also the Nintendo Switch Online was just still an emulator.
Well, I'm talking about even if you're playing the original Super Nintendo version of
Yeah.
Super Mario All Stars, it's better.
Oh yeah, that's the one I would prefer. Even though I'm more used to like the NES physics engine for it.
Yeah, the differences in physics are something you really have to get used to with Mario All Stars, because they have the same physics across all 4 games included, instead of each game having its own unique physics.
Yeah.
Which means Mario 1 and All Stars don't quite feel right. Mario 1 and Lost Levels, I should say, don't quite feel right in All Stars.
Yeah.
But you can adapt to them. It's just you have to get used to some shit not working like it should.
Yeah. It's hard for me to get used to it. Because your instincts are automatically just like mentally set for the original physics, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I've tried on multiple occasions, and I find it hilarious.
One thing that's more hard for me to get used to in Mario All-Stars version of Mario 1 is not even the physics. It is the differences in the compositions. They're very subtle, but enough to annoy me. Especially in the world, you know, the Super Mario Brothers theme, you know, the World 1-1 theme.
Yeah.
The composition for the chorus ends just so slightly differently that it irritates me. It makes my eye twitch because it doesn't sound like it should. They throw a little bit of stank on it that doesn't quite sit with me.
Oh, it's that Lunchley cheese.
Oh god, the Lunchley cheese. Lunchley just keeps getting worse the more you think about it and the more you hear about it.
Yeah.
Like even taking out the fact that the cheese is moldy and that it comes with Prime and the Prime hydration drink. One, they're advertising it as low in calories, which kids need a lot of calories if kids are their primary demographic, which it clearly is. Like, it's not going to be a nutritionally fulfilling... Yes, I will hydrate. I do need to hydrate. My throat was getting dry. Speaking of hydration. But not only is it not a nutritionally fulfilling drink for kids, if you look at the portion sizes for a Lunchley box versus a Lunchables box, you're getting less calories because they put way less food in there.
Yeah. I like my mold drippy, bro.
I like my mold fuzzy, so it feels like I'm petting a plush.
Oh my god. That is so fucking cursed. I think Discord struggled to get a lot of what I was laughing about. Oh man, but the whole fact of the matter that so many of them had mold, I was going to do a video where, you know, I try and compare the two and actually be, an unbiased opinion, just genuine, because
like, admittedly, a lot of the videos, comparing Lunchley to Lunchables are from people that already don't like the people involved in making it. And we don't either, but...
It's about integrity of your own
It's about not letting your dislike of the people who made it get in the way of reviewing the product, which can be difficult.
Yeah.
Especially when the people involved have done things like the people involved have.
Yes. Also, JKR is saying we're both disgusting.
We're both disgusting. Thank you.
And it's so polite of you. But
There's one thing that, like, getting off the topic of mold for a second.
yeah. We can do it for the whole
There's
night.
something that always throws me off with a completely unrelated game to this. When I see, like, concept art of Jill Valentine. I can't remember what the game's called. It's not a Resident Evil clone or anything. But it's another PS1 game from an unrelated company. I'm sure if you look up what I'm talking about, I can't remember the name of the game, but I'm sure if you look up what I'm talking about, you'll find the thing I'm talking about. Like, its female protagonist looks exactly like Jill.
Mm-hmm.
But they're completely unrelated to each other. They're not even the same kind of game.
Maybe both people saw someone that looked like her. And
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the designers were intentionally trying to make her look like Jill, because this was an era where people would directly rip each other off instead of saying, "Oh, we were inspired by this."
Yeah.
But when I see concept art of this character, it's like, is that Jill or is that the not Jill from that one game? Like, she even has the beret. And the blue police uniform. Which I know, police uniforms, you're not going to see them in a wide variety of colors. But,
yeah.
Like, she even has the same hairstyle as Jill. There's gotta be some thievery going on in that design, is what I'm saying. And, you know, modern Capcom would not let them get away with it.
Yeah. Now,
modern Capcom doesn't even want you to mod their games.
Yeah.
Because they consider modding a game that you own piracy. Hey, Shadow Dragon.
Shadow Dragon was good.
I mean, at the very least, it's not, you know, they weren't trying to rip off a Nintendo design with that. Otherwise, Nintendo would sue them for patent infringement over something they don't own. Or technically, the Pokemon Company International, which is partly owned by Nintendo, so what's the difference?
One's more, I don't know, both are depressing.
It's still a very Nintendo move to make.
Yeah.
Props to them for keeping Dino Crisis behind a subscription. If I remember correctly, they're either planning to or have already released the PC version of Dino Crisis on GOG.
Oh, shit.
To go with the Resident Evil games being put on GOG. The first three, at least. But yeah, props to Capcom for having their only entries on the PlayStation Plus Classics library be locked behind subscriptions and be like the only games in that library to be locked behind the premium subscription. Good on them for not letting us buy their old games to put our money where our mouth is, to show that we want more of these ports of their old games.
I want to play some Dino Crisis. I never had a chance to play it. If
Capcom doesn't want you to pay for it, then emulate it. If they're not going to let you exchange money for their product, then they don't deserve it.
Yar har epitome D, motherfucker.
This is exactly why emulation exists and why Capcom, like, bafflingly continues to fuck it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do we really need another... Like, you know they're going to do another port of Resident Evil 4 to something sometime. When it's already available on everything, including consoles that no longer exist, like the Zeebo. Well, the Zeebo still exists, but you can't, like, buy that version of Resident Evil 4 anymore.
What about on your Samsung smart fridge?
You know what? I don't think that, speaking of Samsung, the iOS version of Resident Evil 4 is no longer available and no longer compatible with modern iPhones, and it was never released on Android, so there's a market that they could port it to.
Oh. I inadvertently okay.
There you go. You found a gap in the market that Capcom hasn't capitalized on yet.
That wasn't even trying. Hell knows they've been trying.
You forgot Zeebo existed? It's okay. Most people forgot the Zeebo existed. It was only released in Mexico and Brazil. It was planned for a release in Hong Kong, but I don't think it ever made it that far.
I forgot about the Zeebo.
The only reason I know anything about the Zeebo is because of Uncle Derek, not to be confused with Daddy Derek.
Richard, what happened?
So fun fact from having played basically every version of Resident Evil 1 now, if you play the DS version of this game, there's an additional line from Richard here that's clearly voiced by Yuri Lowenthal instead of, you know, Richard.
Poisonous? Oh, no. Richard, hold on.
There is serum. Oh no, I should have brought some with me.
No problem. I'll go and get it.
Thanks.
I don't think it's the venom in your body that's the problem, Richard. I think it's the gigantic bite on you.
Well, she's just gonna go down to the local Costco and get some serum.
You joke about that, but we do have to go to the medical supplies room to get some serum.
Costco Medical.
I mean, keep in mind, this mansion is run by a pharmaceutical company.
Yes.
Also, one of the changes that the remake made that I really like is that you actually get something for getting the serum to Richard in time. Whereas in the original, whether you get it to him in time or not, he dies immediately. Like, he still dies in the remake, but at least you get something extra out of it. He helps you in the snake boss fight, and he gives you an upgraded shotgun.
You always do it for the shotty.
Whereas in this one, it's just the difference in dialogue. And that's it. So yeah, we got the serum. Notice that we didn't take a syringe with us. So I'm going with the implication, even though it's clearly not intended, that she took this serum that you're supposed to inject into someone as an anti-venom and just like poured it down his throat.
No, you gotta pour it over the bite wounds, and it'll act like rubbing alcohol.
No. She thinks it's like cough syrup. She thinks it's like cough syrup. You just gotta drink it. How much does she measure out? Nah, she just pours the whole thing in there.
How much? Yes.
How much? Yeah.
Ma'am.
How much? Yes. It's like, she's like, I mean, you know, Jill's not the medical expert here. Rebecca is. And she's not in this playthrough. So Jill, in this headcanon that I'm now making up as we go, is like, well, I usually just drink enough cough syrup until I stop feeling sick and start feeling way better in a way I can't quite describe.
Ma'am, you're now banned from this CVS, and I'm putting an APB out for you.
For some reason, they say that. For some reason, they put a limit on how much cough syrup I can buy from the local CVS. But I think that's just because I'm running out. That they're running out of supplies.
Here's the serum.
Yeah, makes
Richard,
sense.
hold on. I'll give you a shot now.
Jill, here's my radio. You should keep it.
Okay, so she says that she's giving him a shot, but she doesn't have a syringe, and he spurts blood there, so I'm imagining that she was going to coat some bullets in her handgun with the serum and literally shoot him. She thinks that's what a shot is.
Gonna be a holy
The Sarge from Red vs. Blue way of applying medicine to someone. Coat the bullets in medicine and shoot them until they're healed.
It was saying you're smoking.
You know, there actually are people who go for completionist runs and consider a completionist run having 100% of all the items at the end of the game, whether they're in your item box or not. And there's a lot of debate on whether discarding the keys disqualifies you from a completionist run.
No, I don't think so.
Like, there are some people who say that it does because you no longer have the key.
Like
those people are why I like to call stupid.
Like if it was in your possession at one point, you collected it.
Like, the only things they don't count against 100% items are herbs and ammo, basically, because they're consumable and therefore you will not have all of them at the end of the game, but you still need to have collected all of them.
Yeah.
Which means basically a lot of time wasting your time picking up herbs and putting them in your box to use later or to just never use. I just looked up and Barry Gear the voice Barry in the OG Resident Evil and voice Red, huh? Red in X7. That is true. He was also heavily featured in one of the several X7 and Resident Evil 1 voice actors that was heavily featured in the Japanese exclusive Transformers PS2 game. Also of note is the guy that voiced Chris in this game, who's credited under different names for different projects, also voiced Richter in Symphony of the Night.
Oh, shit.
And as I've told this before, but I'm saying it again, because I'm playing one of the games involved, the guy who voiced Dracula in Symphony of the Night was Harry Mason in Silent Hill. So that opening battle between Richter and Dracula is technically a battle between the protagonist of Resident Evil 1 and the protagonist of Silent Hill.
Oh. It really is. Oh, shit.
I am technically correct. The best kind of correct.
But are you taco correct?
But yeah, you can find X7's voice cast in all sorts of stuff. The guy who... trying to think. Like, Axel's voice actress is also the announcer in Tekken 8. And that may sound weird and shocking at first, until you find out that in Japan, she's less known as a voice actress and more known as a match announcer and commentator in, like, MMA and wrestling.
Oh. I might have heard those things already.
And she's extremely popular, not just due to being really energetic, but because the Japanese like it when you throw in random English. They consider it, like, exotic.
Kind of like how we kind of like the English as a meme.
Yeah. That's the entire reason why English exists, basically, other than, differences in their alphabets not having a distinction between L and R. Is they like to throw in English words to make people sound more exotic or well-learned because they know another language. And one that's radically different from Japanese.
Like when
the voice of Axel in Mega Man X7 is the announcer in Tekken 8. Look it up.
It's kind of like how I say Nani el fuck. I sound very. Oh shit. I actually jumped. Holy shit.
So I usually don't bother trying not to get bitten by the snake here, because I like the extra scene that you get with Barry, and I believe it's required for the best ending. I may be wrong. Also, I keep forgetting that the grenade launcher works differently in Resident Evil 1, because you can't just manually switch ammo types whenever you want. You have to run out of ammo first.
No.
Also, just as a little bit of a content update, I know I didn't come out with any new reviews in October like I was planning. I've got all the footage I need recorded for Crash Bandicoot 2. It's just October was a pretty hectic month for me between getting sick and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's on hold until November. I'm not trying to set a specific date for myself so I don't crunch towards it. But it'll be Crash Bandicoot 2 next, and then I'll... Thank you for the head pat. I'll diverge from Crash Bandicoot into something else so I don't burn myself out on Crash. Because especially playing Crash 2 and Crash 3 back-to-back can get very tiring because they play so similarly.
Yeah. You already know my favorite Crash Bandicoot.
Barry?
Crash 2?
Crash 1.
Crash 1? Okay, that is a spicy choice.
Yeah. And you're gonna love my reason why, right?
Is it nostalgia related?
Partially. It's more of viewing it as a relic of its time and appreciating that, right?
Yeah.
Another thing too is because of the new physics engine and the Insane Trilogy, it made it even harder, which I kind of enjoyed it like that way.
It made it harder and easier, depending on what you're trying to do. Like, it's a little bit harder to accurately land jumps due to the different hitbox shapes, but your air control is a lot better.
Yeah. Which I will say I enjoy that. Like, I felt it was a nice balance, you know?
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of subtle differences in the way things handle in all three parts of the Crash Insane trilogy that make it both easier and harder in certain parts. Like, need I say, the jet ski segments in Crash 3 are much harder in the Insane trilogy than they are in the PS1 original due to how wide the turns are.
Oh. I'm gonna have to look up some speed runs now because I'm curious about
it's considered harder to speedrun Crash 3 on the Insane Trilogy just due to the jet ski being a lot more loose than it was in the PS1 original.
What I mean though is the pathing. I should specify the pathing that speedrunners take. That's what I'm
Like,
curious about.
It's especially a problem in the level Hot Cocoa during the time trial.
We talked about that off stream the last time I was in the call with you.
Yeah.
Oh. Ow.
Like, that level sucks either way, but it's especially bad, especially if you're trying to get all the gold relics for the 102% completion, or, which I've never gotten. Or worse, if you're trying to get all the platinum time trials. Like Cat Icarus. Like, he's done it, but he didn't need to put himself through that.
Yeah, he's done it a few times, actually.
Yeah, he's done it a few times. He's done it for every time that Insane Trilogy has gotten a new port. Which, like, he did on the PS1, on the PS4 version at first. Then he did it on the Switch version when that came out. Then he did it on the PC version when that came out.
Yeah, that's really cool and clever.
And on the PC version, it also adds a further difference with it running at 60 FPS instead of 30.
Oh.
So, like, higher FPS means more accurate controls, basically. In an ideal setting, at least. So, higher frame rate, like, there's a reason that people want games running at 120 FPS and higher. It's not because it looks better. It's because, like, they'll say it looks better, but the human eye can't perceive frame rates that high. Speen doesn't work with the 2D model, correct? That is correct. It does not work with the 2D model. Anyways, basically, in terms of, like, gameplay, like coding a game, a game engine can only register. Yeah, there's no. Oh, that was the sound alert for Speen. That's why.
Okay,
but,
you got us, JKR.
But when you're programming a game, game controls can only be registered whenever a frame is drawn, which is... Thanks for the bonk.
It's for their comment. They mean before. They want to know the head pat audio, where it's from.
Oh, I didn't see that. The head pat audio is from a video called Extort Head Pats by Decooters. One of the most impressive trans girls I've ever heard a voice of, because you would never clock that she was trans unless you are like one of those people that obsessively investigates and obsessively transvestigates people so they can, you know, use slurs against them.
I didn't even know they were trans.
Yeah, she's trans.
I didn't know that. Ah, damn.
That's why she makes so many videos where the joke is that she has a penis.
Oh, my penis.
Yeah, that's why she made the penis weenus video.
I didn't know that.
Because she's trans. And she likes to make light of that. I say she likes to. She hasn't uploaded anything in years.
But still, a wonderful sense of humor.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask about the dogs.
So there's actually a regional difference between the original releases of Resident Evil 1. That was then changed in the director's cut. And all subsequent versions of Resident Evil 1. In the original PS1 release, the Japanese version had auto-aim when you first pull out your gun. Whereas in the international release, they took that out to make it harder. They did the same for Resident Evil 2 in its initial release, and then added it back in the DualShock version. Also, I need to stream the Saturn version of Resident Evil sometime, because it's got some unique content that has never been in any subsequent versions or even the remakes. Like, it has what can arguably be considered the first Mercenaries mode. Although, in the Saturn version, it's called Battle Mode.
Let's get ready to battle.
And, it also has some unique enemies, in that game, including in Battle Mode. One of the unique enemies is a zombified version of Wesker.
Oh! Oh, I remember you telling me that.
And now that I have a Saturn, I can play the Saturn version of Resident Evil 1. Without, well, I could play it anyways with an emulator, because Saturn emulations come a long way. It's just I can play it on actual hardware now.
Yeah. The water is running down the opposite side. I think that'd be perfect for the cast.
Yeah, you'd fit in perfectly with the cast of Resident Evil 1. Fun fact about the cast of Resident Evil 1, they were not mostly established voice actors at this time like they are now. They were basically just people picked off the street because they could speak English. Because Resident Evil 1, well, Resident Evil in general, they never have Japanese dubs. They're always voiced in English.
Yeah.
And in the Japanese versions, they just have Japanese subtitles. It's a similar thing with Devil May Cry. They typically don't have Japanese dubs.
That's actually a really interesting factoid.
And if I remember correctly, Silent Hill also typically doesn't have Japanese dubs, but I may be wrong about that, because my knowledge of Silent Hill is a lot less than my knowledge of your average Capcom game.
Okay.
Mostly due to me not having much experience with the Silent Hill series, so I haven't looked up much about it.
They should make Triangle Head from the Quiet Hill series.
I do have a bit of trivia on why it's called Resident Evil. Or like how they decided to call the international version Resident Evil instead of Biohazard. Like, obviously, you know, the original Japanese name for the series is Biohazard.
Yeah.
The reason they didn't go with Biohazard for the international version is because the name Biohazard was already taken by another game. And they held an internal contest for naming the first one, not knowing that it would go on to be a series quite yet. And the winner of that contest was Resident Evil. So it's a case where they decided the name based on the content of the first game in the series, without regards for what the settings of the later games would be.
I mean, if you think about it, both names work really good. I mean, Resident Evil, your residents are evil.
Yeah, but Biohazard is the more accurate name for, like, the content of the series, because it's always about biohazard outbreaks.
Yeah.
My first experience from Resident Evil was from 6, and that was a mistake back then when I was 18. Wasn't a fan of it, TBH, so Resident Evil 4 was better to play. My first experience with Resident Evil, I've been over this before, but I'll say it again because I always like telling this story. My first experience with Resident Evil, well, technically it was actually the first movie. Because I came from a household where they did not like horror movies and horror-themed content in general.
Yeah.
Mostly on my mom's side, my dad didn't really care. Like, I saw the first Resident Evil movie, and then I saw Resident Evil Apocalypse. I didn't play any of the games until much later. When I borrowed Resident Evil 4, along with a bunch of other games, including Devil May Cry 1 and 3, from my friend Robbie in middle school. Haven't seen him in a while, but I hope he's doing well. Last I heard, he was doing, like, missionary stuff for his church. That's a story for another time. He's one of the many Mormons that I ran into during my time at that school. He got me interested in horror in general and interested in the Resident Evil series, even though he himself hadn't played a lot of it. So, like, a few years later, it's high school now. It's like, I think 2008, probably, because Halo 3 is the latest Halo game at the time.
Yeah. I remember I've been exposed to that, so.
I was big into Halo 3's multiplayer. I was staying at my grandparents' house for a trip, and my mom sees in the local newspaper for that area that a game store not too far from my grandparents' house is holding a Halo 3 tournament. So I go there, and I play in the tournament. For the record, I came in 3rd place. So I won a gift card to the store for coming in 3rd place. There's no way I would be able to come in 3rd place nowadays, because I suck. I've always sucked at Halo.
I suck more.
You sound like you're trying to challenge me. Are you asking for a challenge?
Dude, I
As
suck
the great
so
Stinko
bad.
Man would say.
Dude, I suck so bad, I put the whole porn industry out of commission.
Damn, that's some good suck.
I said that to one of my friends, we're talking because she wants to do a Call of Duty squad, and she wants me to join.
Test your might. I suck at Mortal Kombat even more than I suck at Halo. Well, mostly I haven't played Mortal Kombat against other players all that much, and most of my experience with Mortal Kombat is from Mortal Kombat 9 and the first 3 games. And I hate fighting against the AI in Mortal Kombat 3 especially.
Oh yeah, that's
just
the
cheats.
worst of it.
It just
It's
cheats.
the worst.
Even Ed Boon has admitted that the AI in Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 cheats.
It does.
Which, you know, for the
Mortal
arcade
Kombat.
version, I get that, but why did it have to be that way for the home console ports, too?
Like, I was pretty decent in Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. Because, you know, I actually got a chance to play it in the arcade against other people. I was blessed by that.
The only version of Mortal Kombat 2 that I can reliably get to the end of in its arcade mode is the 32X version, weirdly enough. Yeah, we're getting out of here because there's really no reason to come in here in this playthrough.
Oh, I was not expecting spiders.
Yeah, the spiders are in only a couple rooms in this whole game.
Gave me quite a spook. Give me the spookums.
I haven't played any of the more modern Mortal Kombat games except for Mortal Kombat 9, even though I own 10 and 11. I haven't played them yet.
I want to say I played 11 over at my friend's house. I know they had Injustice.
I haven't played Injustice either. I've watched people play Injustice, but I've never played it myself.
Well, with the second one, but it was actually really fun because this is one of my oldest friends back from kindergarten. That's when I had a chance to play it. Not the bees!
Seems like this is a job for Dr. Bees!
Was this zombified giant bees? Maybe my suitcase full of bees can fix that.
He actually does have a briefcase full of bees.
That was in the first one, I believe, right?
Yeah, that was in the first one. What's this? What's this? An unhealthy amount of bees at the workplace? My briefcase full of bees ought to put a stop to that. Seriously, enough with the tentacles. This isn't that genre.
Yeah.
I'm trying to cover it up with the gargoyle statue like I'm supposed to, but it keeps moving back. I have ways of playing all of the Mortal Kombats, more or less. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, I never had a chance to play Armageddon.
The one that I hear, like, you have to play 2-player for the best experience. Oh, I see why it keeps going back. It's because I was putting it over the wrong hole. Thanks for the ekum bokum. The one that I hear you have to play 2-player for the best experience is Shaolin Monks.
Oh.
Because it's meant to be a 2-player co-op game. It's the one that's a 2-player co-op beat 'em up where you play as Liu Kang and Kung Lao.
Oh, I think I've seen some reviews about them back in the day.
It's considered the best of the Mortal Kombat spin-offs. And people are still begging for an HD remaster of it to this day that we still have not gotten. Or even just like a PS2 Classics port of it to modern consoles, which still has not happened.
Also, thinking about some of the music, right? Like the area you was in before feels like it could have worked in like maybe some Castlevania games, even like in a library.
What I like about this version of Resident Evil, this version meaning all of the non-DualShock versions, is music is used very sparingly. Not every area has music. A lot of it, like right now, is just silence or ambient noise. And I feel that adds to the horror atmosphere. Whereas the DualShock version from what I've played has not just new and worse music, but there's a lot more music for areas that didn't have it before.
Yeah. But that's so unsettling. Went from silence to music. Oof.
Plant 42 report. 4 days have passed since the accident, and the plant at Point 42 is growing amazingly fast. It has been affected by the T-virus differently than other plants have been, and shows unique shape in addition to its size. Looking at the way it behaves, it is now difficult to determine what kind of plant it was originally. There are 2 ways in which Plant 42 gathers nutrition. The first one is through the route that reaches into the basement. Immediately after the accident, a scientist went mad and broke the water tank in the basement. Now the basement is filled with water. It is easily imaginable that some chemical elements were blended in the water and promotes the incredibly fast growth of Plant 42. Another part of Plant 42 from the basement grows through the duct and hangs down like so many bulbs from the ceiling of the first floor. Many vines come out of those bulbs, and they are the second resource for nutrition. Once sensing movement, Plant 42 shoots its vines around the prey and holds it. Then it starts sucking up blood using the suckers located at the back of its vine. It also has some intelligence. It blocks the door by twining its vines around it, and especially when it captures prey or is sleeping. Several staff members have already fallen victims to this. May 21st, 1998, Henry Sarton. I haven't actually stopped to read all these reports before, so this is kind of new territory for me. The Chris playthrough of this has its own unique way of dealing with Plant 42, and I like it a bit better.
You catch it on fire?
I mean, you do get flame rounds for the grenade launcher in Jill's playthrough. And it is susceptible to flames. So yes, you can catch it on fire, but not in Chris's playthrough. In Chris's playthrough, at least in the one I did, he gets captured by Plant 42. Then control shifts over to Rebecca, and she's the one who has to mix the V-Jolt chemical to weaken the plant. And why can't Chris do it himself other than, you know, his mode being hard mode? Because Rebecca is the medic of the team. So she has better knowledge of chemistry than him. Also, I just realized I pushed this box wrong.
Oh. It happens.
I was about to push it into a corner and then it would be stuck.
Oh.
And then I'd have to exit the room and put all the other boxes back in place, probably. See, this is a cool way to make use of the fact that you're in a 3D space with tank controls. That's what I like about old school Resident Evil for, like, the first two, at least, because I haven't really played 3 or Code Veronica. They make use of the fact that you have limited controls by designing the environments to be basically a series of square hallways.
Yeah. And the angles
it not only, you know, makes it so you can easily move around with your limited movement, it also makes it a lot more cramped and claustrophobic. Now, this whole area is handled differently in the remake, and I kind of prefer parts of how the remake handles it, and I kind of prefer ways that this handles it. Partly because the Neptune enemy, you know, the shark, is completely harmless in this version if you just keep moving. And then once you drain the water, which you can do right on your first visit here, it's literally harmless. It's like, oh no, there's a shark. I'm gonna bite you. I'm gonna nibble at your little leg.
Yeah. If I had actually aiming from far.
I can't remember how the whole Bruce as Jaws thing goes, which is funny that Bruce played the Jaws shark because the name for the shark prop on the set of the first Jaws was Bruce.
Oh, wow. I did not expect that.
Also, you want to know one of my favorite fun facts about movie making for a specific movie? You know how you don't see much of the shark in Jaws, and that really adds to the tension?
Yeah.
Because you know what a great white shark looks like, but the fact that you don't get to see much of the shark itself, especially when it's hunting people, makes it a lot more terrifying because you know the shark is there, you just don't know when it's going to pop out.
Yeah.
That was not entirely intentional. The main reason it's like that is because they wanted to use the shark a lot more, but the shark prop kept on breaking down. So they eventually said, fuck it.
It was a happy accident.
Yes, it was a happy accident because it was a mechanical shark prop that did not last long in salt water without having to be having entire parts replaced.
Wait, that's also orca?
Nope, that's a shark.
Oh,
it's a great
I
white.
see.
Great whites are called great whites because they have white underbellies.
I was looking at the other one, the middle one, at a wrong angle.
No, that's just a smaller one.
Yeah.
They're all great whites. I used to be really into sharks as a kid. I know this shit. Like a lot of kids were really into a lot of kids, especially autistic kids, were really into dinosaurs. I was really into sharks.
Even I was into zoology as a whole, meteorology, because I don't know if I have some in my old books, but I had some educational books that would talk about, well, meteorology, animals, dinosaurs. I probably was very hard on the spectrum.
Like, I say that because it's like it's a running gag in the autistic people community that, like, you had one of two hyperfixations as a kid that carried into adulthood. It was either dinosaurs or trains.
Bro, both, that was... This pisses me off because, you know, Thomas the Tank Engine, the dinosaur, all this shit. Fuck me.
You have to buy me dinner first. I may be desperate to get laid, but I'm not a slut. And also, we don't slut shame here. We slut appreciate. Came in just in time, Lulu.
Yeah. Keep it what? Cayman Islands.
Pizza time.
I've got pizza in the freezer that I'm probably gonna cook after the stream is over. Because all I've had today is a chicken biscuit and a bagel.
It's always fun.
I'm sad to report that I am now out of cream cheese. I've got 3 bagels left and no cream cheese, so I'm gonna have to go to the grocery sometime. You know, apart from the fact that I don't have much other food. I didn't pick up much at my last grocery trip because I went to the fancy grocery, you know, the Kroger type one, and didn't pick up much because it's like, I don't want to have to carry all this in by myself, especially when I have to drive further to get to it. I mostly just went there to get a sub, because they have good subs. I know there's like an optimal way to solve this puzzle. I just fuck around with buttons until it solves itself.
I'm in the same boat. H-U-T-Y. Hut.
There we go. See, I don't even know the proper way to solve that puzzle. I just fuck with buttons until it works.
Random bullshit. Go!
Also, yes, I can't wait for Halloween, Lulu. On Halloween, I've already got this down on the schedule. The rest of next week's schedule is still to be determined, apart from more Resident Evil. Me and Lulu are going to be doing Smash, Marry, Kill with characters that she has pre-chosen for me that I have not looked at beforehand.
I'm debating if everyone to work Halloween.
It's gonna be your day off for work on Halloween. Probably play some Shadows of the Dam Hella Remastered that day before heading to your grandma's house since she's hosting a Halloween party there. 2 great things to do in one day.
That's nice.
Also, I'm pretty sure if you pre-ordered Shadows of the Dam Remastered, you get to play it a little bit early, I think, because isn't Nico Belmont joining us? Yes, Nico Belmont will be joining us for the first time in a while.
Nice to hear him.
But because like I've got Shadows of the Damned Hella Remastered pre-installed on my PS5, and it says it unlocks in like another 24 hours, basically. Like, so that would line up with being on the 29th, basically, in my time zone. It's gonna be available in about an hour, so yeah. In about an hour? Are you sure it's not a day in 1 hour? Or did I just not turn on my PS5 today? Fuck,
Yeah.
I can't remember.
That's my job.
This is fucking with my head, dude. Then again, I did oversleep today after going to bed early last night after staying up too late the night before. Also, I totally need to commission some new emotes from Shiba. It's about time. I had some more proper emotes rather than just the shitposty ones. I'm gonna keep the shitposty ones, but I want to have some more, like, specific to me emotes as well.
Yeah.
They're in Shiba's art style for consistency across the channel. Plus, you know, more emotes that aren't just cheap Photoshop jobs will be a better subscription incentive.
Hear me out, okay? A chibi model of you eating ramen. As a reference to the
for the ramen moment, yes.
Yes.
I agree.
Or we could even have you like inside the ramen. That'd be really cute.
So, it took me forever to figure out the solution to this puzzle on my first playthrough of Resident Evil 1. The solution is on the wall, and it's just basic math. Nobody said there'd be math.
What is this? What is this math you speak of?
And the numbers it's referring to are like 1 + 2 = 3 and all that. It's the numbers on the bottles of chemicals.
Oh.
With 1 being water. And then, one of these shelves has, chemical number 2 on it. Unless the collision's broken for some reason. It should be getting the prompt for one of the chemicals here.
Maybe if you leave and come back, maybe it'll reset itself. JKR says they blame her schools.
Yeah, that's the follow-up to the nobody said there'd be math line from Mad World. Every time that one of the hosts says nobody said there'd be math, the other one follows up with, I blame our schools. Yeah, I'm not getting the prompt to, I'm not getting the prompt to use one of the chemicals. I think I might have soft-locked myself using this mod.
Oh.
Which I can fix by just... Thankfully, you can swap between the mod and the original through a launcher menu. So I can just reboot the game. And Well, save first so I don't have to do
Yeah.
all that again.
I was about to say stay first.
Then reboot the game. We won't have the pretty HD makeover for it, but I can at least get past this part that seems to be broken. I need to stream Mad World sometime.
Yes, you do.
It's a game that I don't think would really work all that well on modern platforms, apart from looking a bit prettier, due to its entire gimmick being the fact that it was a violent and very crass M-rated game for the Nintendo Wii as an exclusive. And that was like its core appeal.
Yeah.
It was also one of the first titles from Platinum Games, so there's that.
Oh, Shadow Dragon got a nice good comment right here.
My favorite from the hosts was when they commented that about Little Eddie, and another said how he's so big, so it's ironic, and the other one says, you got beat up in school a lot, didn't you? And he says, yes. I remember that. Little Eddie's the first boss, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I played Mad World.
I've never had a chance to play it.
It doesn't go for very much on the secondhand market, and it's easy to emulate on Dolphin. There's a lot of great lines like that that are unfortunately very easy to miss out on. Because words. No, not that Mad World, although I think it gets its name from that. Okay, so we do keep some of the HD textures because this mod's installed on top of another mod, basically.
Okay. So,
we keep the HD videos.
I'm actually laughing right now because you are that song. You want to know what came to mind?
What?
A zombie singing this song, saying all around me are familiar faces, tasty faces.
All around me are familiar faces, itchy faces, tasty faces.
Yo, I love how that works.
It's still not giving me the prompt. This is worrying.
You ever maybe if you take something out your inventory with that?
No. It's supposed to go in. It's supposed to give me a prompt to put them into the empty bottles. Do we stop for tonight or do we switch to another game? Because I can't make any progress until I troubleshoot this.
What game were you thinking?
Actually, it is getting pretty late, so I think we'll stop for tonight. I'll troubleshoot this off stream.
Okay.
One thing I do have to complain about with the PC port of Resident Evil is that there's no built-in quit command. From what I can tell. So I have to, like, go out of the window and click, I have to close it. Let's go back here. Bring back the throne room. Let's see if we're gonna raid someone tonight.
I hate that train.
I like trains. All right, we're gonna raid Nini.
Yep.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Sorry it had to end this way. But you know, I can only do so much about game-breaking bugs like that. Thank you to Kier for joining me for commentary tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow night with whatever I end up having on the schedule. Keep an eye out for it on my Discord or on Blue Sky. stay tuned for Halloween, where me, Lulu, and Nico are going to be doing Smash, Marry, Kill as a Halloween special. Give Nini the Possum a warm welcome from me. And until next time, unpleasant dreams.
We're the World of Chorus. We hope you enjoyed our show. We know you're rooting for us, but now we have to go.
You said that like the opening to Number of the Beast, and I love that. Good night, everybody.
That wasn't even the intention.
Good.